Hello and welcome to another episode of Chaos at London. This is Mage Edition. Tonight we find ourselves with Eli Callahan and Kai Letnon. I hope I pronounced that right. They are meeting up with two very powerful magi in order to do some negotiations. Eli is just kind of here introducing the relevant parties. As Kai's the one who actually wants the thing. So we find ourselves tonight in a distant grove a little ways out of London proper. There's been a lot of camps and a kind of fire set up, a lot of tents and set up, all that sort of thing, which is where we will introduce Kai and Eli. Eli, you recognize this is where the Verbena Grove has moved to ever since the Sin of Pride kind of worried everybody out of their former spot, so I will let you guys do your introductions.
All right. Well, Eli will be appearing. He is carrying two packages, both very carefully and very lovingly wrapped in silk. One's, I would think the healing staff would be a little bit longer than the spear, right, Tiger?
The spear is just a little bit longer than the staff, actually.
Okay. Well, then the spear would be a little bit longer than the staff. One would be a little longer than the other, obviously. And he is carrying a small, what looks like a very, very old medicine bag. Looks like from like the 1800s. Which will also be carrying the ingredients that were requested.
Okay.
They've been split into two sets. What he is carrying is the amount requested from the lady. The other half of it's back at his place, because he got in enough to cover two sets of the ingredients.
Yep.
And he'll be standing in the associated place waiting for Kai.
Kai will arrive. He's dressed fairly simply. He just like a basic tunic and like heavy welder's pants type. He does have a satchel with him, like a shoulder bag that he's carrying, and a longer cloak. And he doesn't really know anything about this place, so he is just going to look around. He's met Eli a couple times, or once for sure. So he's just gonna look for him and head over, since that's the only person he really knows.
Okay, he'll offer his hand.
And Kyle shake his hand. You'll notice that since the last time you saw him, he has he's missing an eye. He has a patch over one of his eyes.
Oof. Need help? You need help with that? You're in the right place for it.
He will shake his head and say, "There's some things that can't be healed."
Fair enough. Everything going well with you otherwise, though? It's not like it. I'm assuming that it's if it's not, well, I'm kind of blabbering. It's not a big issue for you, is it?
No, it was part of a process, tradition.
Fair enough. Well, He'll pat the longer item that he is carrying. I do have this. It is what you are looking for. However, it is not mine to give. It has been promised to another individual, so I will gladly make the introduction so you can negotiate with her. I don't ask for anything in return. I'm already getting what I need. But past that, it's not my concern anymore.
Fair enough.
And he'll wave his hand towards where the meeting place is going to happen. Please follow me.
And Kai will just follow along at this point.
And Eli will lead him to the meeting spot. I'm assuming it was a pre-arranged meeting spot?
Yeah, it's the same kind of tent. The same tent that that the elder has typically resided in.
When they approach, Eli will tell whoever's attending the doorway. I'm assuming there's probably a minor, a lower mage watching open the doorway for the moment.
It's not so much a mage; it looks like a halfling. It's kind of residing over it.
He'll tell the individual, if he knows his name, he'll call him by his name or her name, and tell them that to please inform the elder and the lady that Eli and company have arrived. They're expecting us.
The halfling will nod. You'd actually recognize him as being named Cheddar Wagonsworth.
Okay.
You've also known him to just carry around a great axe that is taller than you are. Pretty casually.
And that's probably why he has never caught him chuckling at the name.
He'll nod carefully and walk into the tent, and then walk back out and say, "All right, he'll see you now."
Thank you. And out of respect, Eli will still knock on the entry pole as they enter, just to show respect.
The elder will tell you to come in.
And he'll enter, but he'll step to one side and hold the flap open for Kai.
And Kai will just, he just kind of ducks in very, just enough to get inside. He's waiting to be directed, on where he should go, that sort of thing.
So when you step inside, it's a fairly open tent. There's like a bedroll and a little seating place. And you'll see two figures. One you believe to be a man, but you're not really sure. He's wearing a plain brown robe that covers him almost entirely, except for like a bit of his face. His face is hidden in the shadows of the robe, but you can see one glowing eye from within it. And then sitting next to him, enjoying a pipe, is you'd estimate probably fairly young, maybe just about to get into her 30s. A woman with red hair, wearing very well detailed robes, like almost the antithesis of what the man is wearing. And the man will say, "Good evening, you must be Kai."
He will nod and say, "I am."
Come, have a seat. I believe you have some negotiations you wish for.
Yes, of some sort. And he'll take a seat. Whether there's a specific seat indicated, otherwise whatever's closest or kind of towards the door.
He'll just kind of point at a little like it's basically a pillow, like a little meditation pillow.
Okay. Well, he will-
So while he's doing that, Eli will approach Lady Diadne and lay the three items at her feet, or at her in front of her, however that might be. First and closest to her is the box with the ingredients, so what she has requested. Then after that will be the spear, and then after that will be the staff, representing him giving what she asked, what they agreed upon, and then what needed to be repaired.
Okay. She'll just kind of nod and say, "Huh. I'd say it's about time, but I told you to get some very dangerous things. So decent work, I suppose."
Thank you. And he will take a seat.
So then, Kai, what was it you wanted exactly? This is coming from the woman.
He says, well, my understanding is that this gentleman has promised a spear to you, and it is one that I have been asked to recover.
I see. Then who exactly has asked you to recover it? If you don't mind me asking.
He will kind of lift up his satchel, and so that the small dragon can kind of peek out, and he says, and he gestures to his eye. He says, I journeyed to the world tree, wherein I was tasked by the serpent Nidogger to recover the spear and return it to restore balance to the, or order, I should say, to the realms.
I see. And how did you come about this quest, as it were?
Well, the initial journey was seeking wisdom and understanding of the situation in the city in the first place. And while there, I sought wisdom on what the current situation was and what my role in it should be.
So you've come to ask for the spear. What are you offering in exchange?
Well, that is part of this conversation that I am new to, because as I am new enough to the city, I'm not sure what is, excuse me, what is potentially needed, what is called for, what your role here is, that you obviously have interest in this spear. So then to understand what your interest is and how I might offset the cost or loss.
I don't have much interest in the spear personally. It's mostly for this one over here. And she'll gesture at the man. I'm just repairing it.
I see.
The spear and the edit character, the spear and the staff are two different things, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Just making sure.
Yeah,
Oh, so she's repairing the spear for the elder.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, then I guess the question would be, what is his interest? As it seems, he is the end party.
He'll think for a second. I'll give you the spear tonight, but you have to pledge to do one thing for me. I would like my eye back.
Yeah. Looks at the man and he says, well, I suppose I would need to understand better who has it.
You mentioned a meeting with the Nidhogger, right?
He nods.
It wasn't that one, but that very annoying squirrel that stays in the same tree.
I see. And has he done something in particular with it, or would we assume he still has it?
I think he's just hoarding it, honestly. Squirrels tend to do that.
Well, that would make sense, I suppose. I can certainly work to arrange something, I'm sure.
I'm sure your companion there could be of some assistance to that. He'll just kind of nod his head at the little serpent.
I imagine he could. He's fairly well connected.
So, do you agree to these terms?
He will look. Look at the man and he'll say, I would be remiss if I do not ask. This I was not pledged as part of an oath that I would be aiding in breaking, would it?
No.
He nods and says, then I accept.
Wonderful. He'll turn his head to Lady Biedme and kind of slightly bow it in deference and say, if you wouldn't mind. And she'll say, oh, of course. and she will place the spear and the staff in the center of the tent and pull out some chalk, start drawing a circle around it. She'll ask the both of you to kind of like back up a little bit so she can get the proper amount of space in.
Eli will step back.
Kai steps back, but he's kind of watching just because this is a different practice for him. He's curious.
Is she using runes? Is she using runic magic?
She's using geometric magic.
I missed that, sorry.
She's using geometric magic. It's similar but different.
You will curiously watch, but not to the degree of like attempting to learn anything new. Just, curiosity's sake.
Yeah. She'll start drawing in several symbols within the circles, start drawing in spokes between them. It takes about a half hour to an hour to finish it. And then she'll step into the circle next to the staff and sit down in a meditative pose. At which point the circle, along with the staff and the spear, will start to glow with a very calming blue energy. If either of you were nervous or like tense or anything, it is suddenly washed away as this happens. And it will go on that way for another hour or so before it stops and she opens her eyes and pops up and says, "It's done then." She'll hand the staff to Eli and the spear to Kai and say, "There you go, dears."
Thank you. And do I have to spend a quint or anything to reorient the staff to myself?
No.
No.
Kai is just he carefully takes the staff, or the spear rather, but he's making sure like to keep it like wrapped because it's not his. He is just carrying it.
Mm-hmm. Even through the wrappings, and Eli can feel this from his staff as well, you can feel these things are now very, very powerful. Whereas they were kind of almost not quite black holes, but they were clearly dead beforehand. Not just inert, but dead. Now they seem to be thriving with energy and life again.
The spear was liberated from the individual who killed the Odin spirit at the time. It was liberated from a lich by a few individuals. So just so you know, we were not the one that stole it. It was liberated from the original thief.
And Kai looks at the serpent to make sure he heard, since he's kind of the eyes and ears here, so to speak. And then he'll say, "Well, we'll make sure to relay that as well. We would not want any untoward grudges being carried."
That's good.
Did you happen to catch a name for the lich, if you don't mind me asking?
Should I roll intelligence to try to remember the name?
Yeah. I'll say the difficulty 7 because you do have his journal, but it's been a minute.
Yep. Just gotta open Discord. There we go. No, can't remember the name. He'll look at her and go, I can't remember the name, but I have it. It's probably in the journal. I can relay it to you at a later point. I can relay it to you, to everybody here if they so wish it.
Please do.
Guy says, well, it would probably be beneficial for me to know.
He'll know. Or, you know what? I'm going to try again.
Yeah, you can spend a willpower and try again.
Yeah. There we go. Oh, I got one success. He kind of sits back down and he puts his head in his hand for a second and goes, oh, come on. That name, I know that name, I know that name. Studied that journal long enough. Oh, that's why it was written in Old Italian. And he'll give the name.
Okay. The name was Aldo Valentino. And at that, she'll kind of perk up at that, as well the man, but a bit more mutedly. She'll say, "Oh, I see. Oh, good to know that's where he ended up. I am assuming he was destroyed, yes?"
She was, as well as was his phylactery. I can never say that word right. You know what I'm talking about, though, right?
Kai will look at him and just say phylactery. That's kind of a question.
Yeah, that's it.
Good to know. Well, if you'll excuse the pair of us, we have a lot of discussion to do.
It's good doing business with you, and I thank you for your assistance. And he'll stand up and head towards the exit.
Kai will look at her and say, is there anything else I can do for you, as you were a party involved in this process?
I don't have anything for now, but if I think of anything, I'll let you know.
He'll pull out a card and say, well, this is the address for my shop. It's smithy, as well as carrying a number of herbal resources and meads and brews. I do dabble in some other trade works, but those are my primaries.
Good to know. I'll be sure to pass along the request.
He will nod and prepare. Then he takes up this spear and he heads out. He is going to get that back to his sanctum right away.
That is a good idea. Is there anything else you guys wanted to do tonight?
That should do it for me.
That's good enough for me.
All right. Well, we will call it there. Thank you, folks, for playing. Thank you, future watchers, for watching. It's been another episode of Chaos at London.